First question I'm going to ask you, and talk to somebody next to you or in front of you, is what do young people really want when they move to adult life? So I'll give you a couple of minutes. What do they really want? And magically, I'm going to draw it on this Aspirations board. So, 2 minutes.
Yes, and also I enjoy the sense of achievement.
So we need a fabulously focused Friday, don't we? And we need to really kind of focus. So what do young people really want to do when they're, so I'm calling them aspirations. What do they really want to do when they grow up? I'm going to have a go at drawing it. Do you know, my aspiration when I wanted to grow up was to be a famous painter. And you'll see why I'm not doing famous paintings. You know, I'm not a famous painter. So, first idea, what do people want?
Independence.
Independent. Now, that's really tricky to draw. That's the hard one to start with. Independent. So, tell me, what does that look like?
A person stood by themselves.
Okay, so a person stood by themselves. And what would they be doing?
Whatever they want.
Yeah.
Whatever they want. Okay, cool. Somebody said this morning about being away from the kind of mother's apron strings. So just doing their stuff, you know. Absolutely. Another idea.
Purposeful activity during the day.
I can't draw that. So what is that? Is that clubbing? Is that mountain biking? Is that bungee jumping?
Well, probably some luck at the weekend, but maybe also doing some kind of work or...
Work. I'm going with work. Well, I'll write that. That's cool. Work. So, excellent. I can't draw it because there's so many jobs in there. But we'll write work. Anything else? Oh, what's it?
Continuing to learn. My son will always need to.
Okay, so I'm going to put my other plates on. Because it's not just about in college, is it? So it might be driving. Anything else?
Become a Formula 1 driver.
Become a Formula 1 driver. I'm loving that. So let's call it. They passed their test. Hey, let's get an F in there. So now they're doing F1 stuff. What an aspiration. Loving that.
Have a relationship.
Okay, so within films. I'm going to say within films. How far are we going to go with that? Okay, so having a relationship. So that could be just friendship. That could, hey, let's put a bit of love in there, shall we? Could be a bit of love. Could be a partner. Could be marriage. Could be a one-night stand. Could be a whole range of things. Right, continuously. Excellent. Relationship. Anything else?
Achieving a goal.
A goal. So I could draw a football pitch, but what would the goal be? Do you know, if I had 100 rounds of ammunition and fired at a mountain but without a target, my shot wouldn't improve. If I had a target to aim for, my shot would improve. Does that make sense? So what's the goal? It is, yeah. So roughly, gut feeling, I've only got a couple of things here. It's more.
Being a dad.
Being a dad. Oh, okay, so let's draw a couple of kids in here. 2.4, whatever it is. There we go.
Having fun.
Fun. Okay. And I guess, you know, with fun it's about being happy. Yeah? Cool.
Having their own home.
Home. Loving that. Okay. Something like that, doing it. Oh, it's gone really old-fashioned. Should I put a sky dish on there? Anything else? Have we missed anything?
Being part of the community.
Being part of the community. So having independence, but also able to be in what sort of community should we go for? I'm going for raving, I don't know why, but let's go for a bit of the club scene. I'm doing a bit of DJing stuff. I don't understand what that's about, but yeah. So maybe a kind of DJ stuff, okay. Do young people get that stuff? Do they work? Hey, there's work. I think we need to work with getting paid for work, not just work experience, work experience, work experience. Do they choose the people they want to be with? Do they choose where they live? Do they choose to be, hey, you don't need to go away or come in? Do they choose that? Do they have fun? Do they keep learning? Are we working towards our aspirations? We need a British driver, don't we? Do they or don't they? Because my daughter, and so I'm going to tell you about my daughter, when she was growing up, she said, Dad, I want to be a lithographer. That's what she said. So what does Dad do? Buy her a camera. Yeah? But what I see, I don't see many people with kind of learning difficulties, living in their own place that they choose, having a job that they want to do and get paid for it, and being with the people that they choose they want to be with. Does that make sense? I'm just checking, is anybody homeless in this room? No? So you've all, did you kind of choose where you lived? Got a bit of parameters, isn't there? You kind of, yeah. Did you choose your relationship? Yeah, okay. And if you have done, has anybody earned a bit of money in their pocket? Has anybody had some form of employment? Yeah? Can I ask a favour? Can you think about your first job that you ever had? So me, I was 12 years old, telling a farmer, well, lying about my age, so I got a bit more money, and I picked weeds. That was my first job at 12. So think about your first job that you've ever had. Got it? Okay, so everybody stand up. If you were 20 or over, when you got the first bit of money to buy your 10B&H or your Xbox game or whatever you did, if you're 20 or over, before you actually got a bit of money in your pocket to buy stuff, sit down. So a couple of people. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 15 to camera, 15, a lot of people say 15, 14, 13. So hey, we got two people, these entrepreneurs here, we got two people. What did you do? When did you start?
Cleaning offices with your mum.
Okay, cleaning offices with your mum. How old were you? 12. Fabulous. Did you get a bit of money?
Yeah, the mum did give me to put to the bank.
Okay. What about yourself at the back? Sit down.
Paper round.
Paper round. And how old were you?
I don't know.
Yeah. A long time ago. But, you know, before... Maybe
It must have been
before
about 10 or 11, something like that.
10 or 11?
I also sold milkman as well. Just get paid in eggs.
Hey, yeah. So, a bit of exchange stuff going on there. Really great. Great to hear. So, helping a milkman out,
Yeah.
paper round. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I guess a lot of people are family members, are they? Families? Yeah, have we got any commissioners here? Well, people that give money to so you can buy your service. No? Anybody from practitioners? Great to see you. Any practitioners, like teachers and stuff? Got a few here. Anybody from the Department of Health? Oh yeah, we have. Great stuff. Okay, so just think about all these parents. When was the first time your son or daughter got a bit of money in their pocket? 12? 12? A lot of people sat down about 15. So why can't they get a bit of money in their pocket to learn about what work's about? What stops them from doing that? Because we've already said aspiration is about getting money, you know, and aspiration is about that. So, I've got a bit of a fun exercise. Please don't just remember this, remember everything. But there's 9 dots in your book. And what I want you to do is draw a line, a straight line, through each of those 9 dots without taking your pen off the paper. And I want you to use 4 straight lines. Now, I can do it with 5. Five's pretty easy. Let me show you what I mean. Let's get a different colour pen. So 5 straight lines without taking the pen off the paper is really, really easy. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can do it, no problem. And I've asked you to do it with 4. So when I think about 4 straight lines, you know, I'll get a bit, you know, it's a bit tricky. So, let's try 4. Okay, let's do a bit more. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I missed that one out. Okay, so that's your job. Okay? 4 straight lines without taking your pen off the paper. Anybody done that before? Can't remember how. It's that age, isn't it? Absolutely. Are there any kind of practitioners here, like teachers or people? Excellent. Can you do it with 3?
I'm a teaching assistant, I'm not paid.
Okay, so teaching assistant, but got that bit more experience. So we've got TA to do it in 3 straight lines. Any commissioners in the room? Hi. Okay, can you do it with 1 straight line? I'll show you what I mean. 1 straight line's this. Look, here we go. 1 straight line without taking your pen off the paper. Anybody from the Department of Education here? Oh, hello. Can you do it with no lines? Okay, because he's challenged and he's got to do that. He's got a big challenge. No lines. Okay. So how are we doing? 4 straight lines, 3 lines, because you kind of do work in these pockets. Commissioner, you've got to manage your budgets. Poof, you know, 1 straight line. Guy from the Department of Health, no lines. How are we doing?
We're not very good at joining lots of
We're not very good at joining.
Commissioners don't draw.
Commissioners don't draw.
No, we don't draw.
Anybody got cracked it? Anybody know? Anybody solved the problem? Do you want me to? Because we're school run. Fast, fast. Let me show you. Do you want me to show you, or has anybody cracked it? 4 straight lines. Okay, you ready? Go slow. Okay, so ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. So why couldn't you kind of solve it? Sorry? You need to think outside the box. I'm loving that. Absolutely. So you put in a new rule saying you can only solve that problem thinking inside that box within those 9 kind of dots. How are you doing on 3? How are you doing on what? I won't ask you. Okay, so 3. Any ideas? And you can tell I get a bit game showy after lunch. So top, middle, bottom. That's what you've got to think about. Do you remember that game? Top, middle, bottom. And if you can imagine the dots are really big, and you go down top, middle, bottom, you go downhill. And you go all the way along, and then you come back, top, middle, bottom. And you're coming down, and you come back, top, middle, and bottom. Oh, so you kind of do a Z. How are you doing, Commissioner? Do you need that? I'm going to be really cheeky. Do you need kind of strategy group to help you with the use of that 1 line? You know.
No comment.
What do you reckon? 1 line. Come on. Think outside the box. What would you do? I'm loving you. You can come again. Let's get a pen out wide. Hey, yeah. Woof. Done. Good job. Hey, did anybody think about moving the dots? Say, hey, let's just go. Well, and just kind of put them in a line. Let's move the dots. Because what you were doing was working out a kind of rule. Kind of there's a woof, 1 straight line. So, do you know what I was hearing this morning is there's not enough services. Did you pick that up from the big kind of discussion? Got our daughter is son challenging these, not enough services out there to meet my needs. So, same principles. You know, if I gave you 5 hours, we could solve the problem, couldn't we? You know, 5 dots, 5 lines. If I gave you 5 people, we could do it. Hey, if we had 5 quid, or £5,000, or £500,000, we could do it. But we did it with 4. We did it with 3. We've done it with 1. How are you doing on the... No. Could you borrow somebody's lines? Could you do that? Hey, is there any chance you need your lines? And I can help you solve the problem. I've got no lines myself, but I can help. So with no time, no people, no money. Actually a bit of reciprocal stuff. Hey, let's work together and do that. Does that make sense? So what's stopping this person here wanting to live a real full life? Because what we've done, we've put a box around there, and we've invented another rule in our head that I didn't mention, is that you've got to solve the problem within that box. You're thinking inside the box. So what are those things inside our heads that stop people from living a great life of aspirations, a real full life? Any ideas? Support. So it's not saying it's about the number of support. So what is it about support that's stopping us, our thinking? Is it the wrong person that's supporting them?
Low expectations.
Low expectations. I'm not good at spelling, so I'm going to put Carlton. If we're saying that somebody with a young person with disabilities, you can't do that, they ain't going to do it. Anything else?
Health and safety regulations.
Yeah, do you know, I was talking, people this morning said about the CYA policy. Got that in Sheffield? CYA policy? Is that? Have you read it? No? CYA stuff. It's called cover your arse. I go very southern on arse, don't I? Cover your arse. And what if, health and safety, what if it goes a bit wrong? What if somebody, gets into a relationship? What if they go out clubbing all night? What if, And what we're not doing is we're saying what ifs rather than saying how do we help them have great, safe relationships? How do we help them move to their own flat in a healthy and safe way? How do we help them go clubbing, not with their mum, a supporter that looks like their mum, but with a young guy that's got tattoos and kind of cool, and knows about DJ stuff. Anything else? I can't do? Policies, health and safety, risk averse, lack of opportunities. So I'm putting there about, I put A and P there. So what we think about is what's available rather than what's possible. If we think about what's available, it's getting smaller, smaller, smaller. But if we think what's possible, I could be an F1 driver, I could learn to drive, I could work, I could be in a relationship, I can have my own home. Does that make sense? So it's about unlocking that thinking around aspirations. So what's an outcome? Two seconds, just sort of 2 seconds, a couple of minutes, just think about, so somebody next to you, what is an outcome? Yeah, you've got to talk on this bit.
And which supports the development. It's not target, it's not objective.
Anybody got a definition? Yeah, excellent.
Happy and healthy.
Happy and healthy. So that's the kind of, so it's future focused. So somebody's happy and healthy. Yeah. Anything else? What an outcome is? We kind of defined it. A result. I'm loving that. You know, so Tottenham lost last night, didn't they? Everybody's watching football. That's a result. You know. So, but with an outcome, I think it's about future focused. Does that make sense? So I am living in my own home. I have paid work. Is a future focused kind of result, something we can measure, we can feel. Different to aspirations, I think, a little bit. Aspirations unlocks our thinking. Outcomes now we can start measuring, are we kind of getting there? Does that make sense? So my daughter saying I want a job when I'm growing up is okay, but let's get a bit more focused. What does a job mean to my daughter? Does that make sense? Yeah? So, and there's a couple of things. If you only remember one thing, is about an outcome or a solution. Okay? And today we do the PCP training thing, next, wherever it was, with Chris. Did we do that? And he talks about working and not working and about being important and one-page profiles. Well, very, very similar. So what do you want to keep something that's working, a great outcome? Think about that. What do you want to change that isn't working? And is there a future that you want to move towards as well? And I see young people in kind of post-16, so I've got a real good sense of good lot of friends, and but when I move to adult services, my friendship just disappears. You know? So I was saying an outcome, if I've got great friends in post-16, an outcome is how I keep my friendship going. Does that make sense? So that's because it works, and it's going really well in school, or post-16. But a person-centred outcome isn't a service goal, it's a personal goal. So it's not about increasing independence, it's not about improving mobility. You know, that's not measurable anyway, is it? You know. But it's about what the person wants. It's something they have control over. It's measurable and specific. It might be tough kind of getting there, but they help us inform what a really good outcome is. The other bit you've got to think about, is it an outcome or is it a solution? So a solution is a thing that helps you get the outcome. Does that make sense? So it's a kind of resource that helps you achieve that. It might be an item that you buy, F1 car, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? Or it might be an activity. It might have a cost associated with it, or it might be free. And what you need to start doing is asking these questions, whether it's an outcome or if it's a solution. So if you got your outcome, what would it give you? What would it do for you? Where, when and whom would you want it? Where would you want to make it possible? And you can keep asking those questions. So my daughter's kind of going through, we meet and we have our first transition meeting at 14, and I guess you've been there as well. And I kind of asked her, what do you want to do when you grow up, George? And I keep asking her that. And these are the 3 things that she said. I want to have a paid job, I want to live in my own flat, and I want to have a car. Hey, isn't that interesting? You just come up with the same stuff as well. You know, so it's no different, is it? They don't say kind of wacky and wild things, just things that we often just take for granted. You know. And so I'm just going to focus on a couple, and you're going to help me, because I've got no lines, but parents to parents, we can help each other, can't we? So I need a bit of help later on. It'll be really cool. So I said, okay, you want a car, George? Let's talk about that. She said, Dad, I want a pink kitty car, okay? Smart car. So I'm going, okay, so how much would that cost me? I'm trying to work it out. And when she's 17, she gets provisional, all that kind of stuff. And we get to a next transition review, because Dad don't want a pink car, it's a pink kitty smart car, so I want something else. And she's changed her mind. Is that okay?
Woman.
Huh?
She's a woman.
She's a woman. She says, Dad.
Very brave person.
Dad, I want a pink convertible Mini. You know, so she's kind of growing up. She's thinking, hey, okay. So I'm thinking, oh, geez, that's just, you know. And so I start asking, Georgie, why do you want a car? You know, so asking those questions to her. So I was asking, like, what would it give you? What would it do for you? What makes it possible for you? And she says, well, I live in Milton Keynes. You can tell I'm not from here. And she says, well, it gets me from home to where I want to go. So it's transport, you know. So it lets me go and see my friends once a week. She's got some friends dotted around. And it lets me go to the city shopping. And what's really important for Georgie is getting up, you know, because she's got autism, being on time. So I can get to work experience on time. Really, really, really important to her. What makes it possible for you? Well, I can just do it, spontaneous. It allows me to give other people lifts, so I can, you know, feel part of the crowd. And I feel equal, you know, to my friends at sixth form, because they're all starting talking about that now. And I feel kind of equal to them. So is the car the outcome, or is the car the solution? What do you reckon? Solution, isn't it? So, and Georgie says, hey, Dad, I've learned how to use the bus now. Don't need a car. You know, so I thought, well, yeah, it's about transport now. So what would the car, what's the real outcome? Well, it's to go and see my friends once a week. It's to go to the city shopping. And it's to get to work on time. Does that make sense? The car is the solution that helps do that. We're not forgetting the car, don't get me wrong, but we're trying to work through about getting Georgie a licence and some driving lessons, and that's kind of something we're doing. But actually, what she's really saying, my outcomes are these three things. So, you know, do you remember statements? Because they're going to be around long, don't they? But do you know, I've got something called a note in lieu. Anybody heard that? Yeah, hands up, yeah. So note in lieu means, yeah, your kid's got real big issues, we're going to get nothing for it. Yeah? So significant need, I think they use. So me being clever, I go and ask every person I can find, can you paint a really awful picture of my daughter? We go to a consultant paediatrician, the educational psychologist, you know, and we paint up this awful picture of my daughter, and ka-ching, I get money for it. You know, well, what's that about? You know, and statements are often driven, and we heard that this morning, didn't we, from that negative deficit model. So we kind of fight for those resources as well. And so statements are often about resource-led rather than aspirational or outcome-led. And I think that's the great change about it. So when we think about something like 5 hours of speech and language therapy, you know, that's often kind of stuff we see within a state of special educational needs. But ask the questions. You know, what would it give you? What would it do for you? What makes it possible for you? And for this young person, yeah, time with the speech therapist helps me in my communication. What makes it possible for you is about my friendship, my social activities. I'm feeling a bit more confident now I've got the grasp of the language and communication. So is the speech and language therapist, is that the solution, or is that the outcome? It's a solution, and I think it's a solution towards being understood by my friends, so I can see them in the places that we currently. Does that make sense? So that bit is to help you move towards kind of aspirations. And we've done a lot of work. So my background, so I'm a dad with a daughter that's got statements. My background's clinical nursing, so I've done some work with people with kids with special needs. I've been a commissioner, so I've actually given people money to kind of buy stuff as well. Been a provider, offering services as well. But recently I've been doing something called Getting a Life, which was the kind of birth, yeah, absolutely. But it's helping because kids didn't have a life. That's why it was called that. We're helping young people with complex needs to get a life. And that was 16 hours a week minimum paid employment. That was the aim. And from that, and from the kind of stuff we're doing with pathways, we've come up with, you're not behaving yourself, we've come up with these kind of four a framework, I guess, around pathways. So it's on the back page of your handouts. So we know people with learning difficulties are probably going to have more health needs than general public, so we need to bear that in mind. Also employment, we've talked about that, my daughter's talked about that. Independent living and housing, well, you told me that's a good outcome. And the last one is friendship, relationship and community, and again you told me that as well. So there's a framework there to help people move towards those four outcomes for better life outcomes. So you've seen this already. This is my daughter. So in year 10, I say, Georgie, what sort of job do you want? And she's got no idea whatsoever. So I said, well, let's do a bit of planning around this. So you'll see on the inside page, you've got this kind of arrow diagram. We just sat down with Georgie's TA and with a Senko, and we said, well, who can help us find out what job Georgie wants? We had a whole range of people that could help us. So you've certainly got enough lines. We've had all these people that could help Georgie explore the kind of work opportunities. We said some stuff about what would you like to do in the future, is there anything you didn't like, what are your gifts, what you're good at, and can we use that around that as well? So we did that sort of stuff. And you know, Georgie's in a mainstream school, And I said to the people there, is there any chance of Georgie not just having 2 weeks in year 10? Could she have 2 years of work experience? And they said, yeah. How come's that? So Georgie had day release for 2 years. And we tried a whole range of different jobs to find out what Georgie really wanted to do. And the way that we did that, instead of trying to help us, because Georgie couldn't tell us the job she wanted, she knew she wanted to work, aspiration, but to help us nail it down to an outcome was really, really hard. So we just said, well, where does Georgie go? And so she goes to the Harvester with Papa and Grandma. We shop in Milton Keynes, so we go to Marks and Spencer's. We've got gym membership. I'm a Northampton Saints fan, so George's got a season ticket as well, so we go and watch Northampton Saints. John Lewis, and my wife's a teacher, and there's a primary school just around the corner from us as well. So we started kind of mapping that, and then we started thinking, where is Georgie a customer? Where does she feel good? Where is she a member? Where connections could be strengthened, maybe with some new connections could be made as well. So we started in Mum's school, because Georgie knew Mum's school, she was comfortable, safe around that, because people with autism don't like change, do they? And Georgie was going to get to school, and if you don't get to school, you get recalled, because I'll be late. And we'd say, next work experience, yeah, but I'll go and get registered at 9 o'clock, you know, all that kind of stuff. But it just made her feel, in that big change, she went to Mum's school, enjoyed it, realised this is a new kind of working, this kind of day release stuff. Then went to Marks and Spencer's around visual merchandising, because she loved cameras and pictures and stuff like that. Absolutely hated it. Went to Harvester, did a bit of waitressing, like the people, which is interesting, but people, you know, assumptions there. Like the people, she told me about when she dropped all the glasses all over the place, all that kind of stuff. I said, but I don't want to be a waitress. And when we came back, she says, I love working with kids at school. And I love working with young kids as well. So that's what she's aiming to do. So for the last 2 years, George is doing 2 days a week in a local nursery. We're looking about doing an apprenticeship this year. How comes that? And do you know why she wants to do an apprenticeship? Any ideas? 80 quid a week in her pocket. Of course that. So she's learning 80 quid in her pocket for apprenticeship. Once we get the support right, and you know, there's an opportunity there, and they like it, and stuff like that. It's 80 quid. Okay. So sometimes we have to kind of unlock our thinking around outcomes. And my last bit is, can you help me, parent to parent, and I guess some other people, can you really help me around another outcome for Georgie? But I don't know if you've noticed on your chair, some of them there's these little kind of paper clips. And I'm going to give you some time to think about these little bulldog clips. I'm going to give you 3 minutes, 44 seconds to come up with as many ideas as you can for the use of this little bulldog clip, okay? There's a prize. There is the bulldog clip cup to win. So 3 minutes, 44 seconds. Just to let you know, don't discuss just right. So if somebody says nipple cramp, okay, don't just write it down, okay? Don't judge the ideas. Wacky or wild, say no one. You can hold paper together with it. So sensible is fine. Do it on people's ideas. You might get a bit stuck. Use all of your 3 minutes, 44 seconds. Off you go. So I'm going to put Mr. Blue Skies on to help us, which, no surprise, is 3 minutes, 44 seconds long. So off you go. As many ideas as you can from this bulldog.
Bye.